Bumps Notes presents a review of the controversial 1981 Indianapolis 500.
Time now for the checkered flag. Coming up for Bobby Unser of Albuquerque, New Mexico, the oldest man by almost 5 years ever to win the Indianapolis 500.
One day after Bobby Unser took the checkered flag, USAC officials declared Mario Andretti the winner after Unser was penalized one full lap for violating a race procedure called the blend rule. With that ruling, Mario Andretti became the first driver at Indy to win from the last row. Roger Penske, Bobby Unser's car owner, appealed the race results, contending that Unser's car had been unfairly penalized and that Andretti's car had also illegally passed other cars from the pit area onto the track. It took the entire summer of 1981 to resolve, but when the dust settled, Bobby Unser was reinstated the winner of the Indianapolis 500. A three-man panel ruled that a fine of $40,000 would replace the one-lap penalty.
I understand there is going to be a protest. Is that right?
Well, there is a protest in process, mainly because we're talking about the usual infraction of the rules. The one particular rule that we dwell on quite a bit during the private and also the public drivers' meetings are passing on the yellows. And this one instance when Bobby and I were exiting the pits, I was right behind him, and there was a row of cars lined up behind the pace car. And obviously, when we reached that point past the pit wall, we are to blend in behind the car that we're alongside. And, well, I did so. In fact, I went right behind Foyt, and Bobby just kept right on, and I just lost sight. He went about 7 or 8, 9 cars in front of me, and so I called in my chief, and I said he passed just for the record, and so did John Cock.
So there will be a protest filed, and that can't take place officially, as I understand it, until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning when the official standings are posted.
First of all, at that time, we didn't have to lodge a protest. We did not protest. That's clear. And it's a normal procedure with Indianapolis to look at the tapes overnight. In those days, they didn't have computers and so on and so forth. And then that's why the race never became official until sometime early in the morning.
All right. With me is Thomas W. Benford, the chief steward of the Indianapolis 500, whose responsibilities include acting on protests. And a protest has been lodged by the Patrick Racing Team, contending that winner Bobby Unser passed cars illegally under the yellow flag. Tom, what's next?
Well, right now, during the race right now, and later on this evening, we will be reviewing all the facts in this case, as well as the entire results, and we'll post our official decision and results at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. That time, this unofficial protest will be accepted if they still want to place it. If we may decide in their favor before it even is official, we may not. If we don't, then they can file a protest, and we'll have a hearing.
Because Tom Binford didn't know any more about racing than the local guy that would pick up garbage on the street.
By the way, when this protest, or proposed protest came up, we tried to reach Bobby Unser. We haven't been able to. No reason to think he's evading us, but we simply haven't been able to find him in Indianapolis.
That's another blatant lie. And I mean a really blatant lie. I was in my hotel room at Hojo's right down on the corner of High School in the freeway, and I had my own telephone number listed in the telephone book. And Lord only knows they could have gotten me there. So that's a standard press way of saying they did something when you can't prove them wrong. But I promise you, I was there. I slept there all night. I didn't go out to eat. I didn't celebrate any place. I was dog. All right, there's my car coming out.
That's the way it is.
And Mario, there's where you're saying he should have blended in.
Exactly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm losing count here, Bob. As you pull out, you're looking, if you look to the right of the screen, you're looking for where you can pull in. So you were, at least based upon your understanding, you were doing it one way. Based upon Uncle Bobby's understanding, he was doing it another way. And that, I guess, fellas, is the crux of the issue that's been boiling and festering for the last 20 years or so.
But there's no doubt in my mind that the Penske cars that year, we would have finished 1 and 2 had we been able to complete the whole race without the fire problem.
If the car was that good, you didn't have to do that under the yellow. You see, that was really my contention. Well, the rule was very clear, Jack. When the end of the pit wall was declared a blend line, and obviously it was and it also was stated that when you come out of the pits, you look to the right. If technically you have the group of cars alongside of you, you look at the car that's next to you, and that's the car you blend in behind coming out of turn 2. Bobby and I came out basically together, and I looked to the right, and my car was Foyt. And I saw Bobby just go right up to the front. And then I said to Jim McGee, I said, what's going on? I said, Bobby's going all the way up to the front. He said, well, stay, do what you're supposed to do, go in at the end, coming out of turn 2. So coming out of turn 2, I was going to blend behind Foyt, and he was a lap behind at the time he let me go in front of him.
There were an awful lot, 33 drivers started that race. Not any of the rest of them happen to remember it the way Mario does, so he must go here one ear one way and another ear the other way. So therefore, what happens is if you read in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway's rule books, you'll see that the pits end coming off of turn 2. And as long as you are underneath the white line and across the short chute between turn 1 and 2, as long as you have 2 wheels underneath the white line, that's considered underneath the white line. So therefore, you don't blend in until you come off of turn 2. But it also states in the rules that you shall not pass the pace car for any reason. Even if you beat the pace car to that place, you can't pass the pace car because in essence, that would give you a full lap to come back around. I passed 8, but the rules don't say. Now if, which I wasn't, but if I was wrong,
I did not pass 2 cars, Bobby.
You're not just a little bit pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not. Now, I passed 8 cars, and I fess up to it. Shows it. He passed 2 cars. So if that would have been the rules, again, which it wasn't, see?
Bobby, don't be, don't try to interpret the rule or create new rules for yourself right now. I mean, the fact is, that rule was just as plain as you could ever paint it. The following year, there was the same thing. Nothing was changed at the drivers' meeting. And Tom Binford said clearly, he says, you know what? This time, there's going to be no appeal. This time, we're going to bring you in then. And that's the only thing that they changed. He said, but the rule was not changed. The rule remained the same. And I was there that year. You were not.
In one case, Bobby Unser has the miniature Borg-Warner trophy, emblematic of winning the Indianapolis 500. But if you look for the 1981 Indy 500 championship ring, you'll have to look in the jewelry case of Mario Andretti.